So then I said to her, well, it'll never be of any use to him again. Not as a leg, anyway. Oh, are we on? Hello. I couldn't let this very, very special day pass without saying a few words to you. And although I can't be with you in person, by the wonders of modern technology, I feel as if I'm at the Langham Hotel with you. And I wanted to pay tribute today to a very, very special woman. A dear, dear friend, someone I've admired for a very long time and who has really been a great, great inspiration to me. Who is it? Louise. Louise who? Hello, Louise. Oh, Lois. Lois who? Lois Hughes. No, not Lois Grimshaw as was. The lassie from Lancashire. Oh, Lois. Fancy you having another birthday again. Oh, I can't believe it. Well, I know that those gathered around you today will be discussing your age, but I am not going to mention it because I'm a very, very discreet woman, as you know, and the number will not be passing my lips. And being a bit of a theatrical, you'll remember the works of Oscar Wilde and that play of his, A Woman of No Importance, in which he wrote, "Never trust a woman who tells you her real age. A woman who tells you that will tell you anything." Now, I did have a word with Her Majesty the Queen, because you know I have connections, and I asked her if she would send you a birthday card today. But she said no. If she sent a card to one 75-year-old, she'd have to send them to every 75-year-old in the Commonwealth. She'd never get any horse racing watch, would she? Now, I mentioned Oscar Wilde's play A Woman of No Importance, but that's not a phrase that could be applied to you. I mean, your achievements are many. And when I think of them, I suppose, first and foremost, I think of when you won the Blackburn Diocesan Tennis Championship. Yes, I know only 3 people entered, and one didn't turn up, and one forgot her plimsolls, and you won by default. I'm sure if you'd even played one match, you would have won. But you did go on to triumph in the Chamber of Commerce golf day, didn't you, at the Royal Eastbourne Golf Course, where I've given the prizes, actually. I know you only played on the short course, but you're not very tall, are you? You're very good at pitch and putt. I know your family tell me that. Although why at Sandown, after you played pitch and putt, you went to put your hand through a plate glass door. That's beyond me. Now, I mentioned the Blackburn Diocesan Tennis Championship, which is etched in all our memories now. And you, of course, were born and bred in Blackburn, the home of the cotton mills and the spinning jenny. Yes, that was the nickname of one of my cousins, you know, Spinning Jenny. I've only visited once. It was 1990, and I went to be interviewed for BBC Radio Blackburn. I was doing a bit of a tour in the north, and I went from Liverpool, and it was dark, and it was November, and it was a winter's evening, and it was pouring with rain, and we drove. This car drove us from Liverpool to Blackburn. And the only bit I saw was from the car to the studio, but I'm sure Blackburn is delightful, a lovely place. Now, when I think of you, Lois, I think of clothes, because you're always so smartly dressed. And I'm just waiting for you to grow a bit taller, and then I can have some of your old outfits. But I'm sure, during your many years in Blackburn, you would have been influenced by the woman who was MP there, Barbara Castle, because she was always smartly dressed, wasn't she? Now, Barbara was very progressive, and she was particularly interested in education, and what was important to her, something she used to say, was she wanted equality for all in education, everybody to have equal opportunities. And you were a bit like that as well, weren't you? Because when you went to teach, you were an infant school teacher at St Leonard's Church of England Primary School. And I think really you wanted equal opportunities for all there, because do you remember for a whole year you had Martin in your class? And when he was naughty, you didn't hesitate to take his trousers down in front of the whole class and smack his bottom with a ruler. Oh, dear. These days you'd be had up by a tribunal and sued by the parents, you know. Although I suppose when you think about it, Martin's parents weren't going to sue that teacher, were they? But really, Lois, I'm quite shocked. You probably scarred that boy for life, you know. And when I think of the other things you did, I mean, do you remember that time when you sent Martin and his friend Richard Prue to another teacher's class on an errand, and you sent them for a long stand. The poor boys went off like lambs to the slaughter and gone for ages. I mean, that was terribly, terribly cruel. Now, in the end, Blackburn had had enough of you, and you had to come south. And it was round about 1973, I think, you came to Eastbourne, and eventually you opened Penhale, didn't you? Was it 1977, and you became a seaside landlady? What stories you could tell there! I'm sure there's a book to be written. Do you remember those two Dutch boys that came on bicycles? They'd come from Bournemouth, and they said they'd come over the mountains to Eastbourne when they met the South Downs. Poor innocent young boys, and I bet it wasn't long before you were sending them out for a bucket of hot steam and a tin of elbow grease. During those years at Penhale, of course, you were known as a bit of a domestic goddess, weren't you? Do you remember that time when you washed David's referee kit with something red? The poor man had to go around in pink and black kit for a week. And then, of course, the grandchildren came along. Do you remember that time when Sam and Beth came to stay with you? And you decided you were going to give them a midnight feast. And you went out and bought all sorts of goodies. And at midnight you went to wake them up. And they just turned over and went back to sleep. And what did you do? You went and sat in your own bed and had a midnight feast and scoffed the lot on your own. A pig. Now, in 1984, you and David joined the newly formed Friends of the Devonshire Park Theatre, and it wasn't long before you were on the management committee, and vice-chairman and chairman. What a pushy woman she was. You became social chairman, secretary for many years, and you edited the magazine, and I think you were even press officer. I mean, are there no ends to your talents? Now, being part of the Friends of the Devonshire Park Theatre, it was quite a time, really, before you plucked up the courage to tread the boards yourself. But, you know, many people don't know this watching you, but you do have these hidden talents. Some of you won't know that Lois is a good singer, sings with the choir. She has played Queen Victoria on at least 2 occasions, to my knowledge, and possibly 3. They were the same height, you see. She was of diminutive stature. And how many people know this, that Lois is a very, very good dancer? I'm going to show you now a very, very rare piece of footage. Lois, Hughes! Oh, that was wonderful. Can we see it again? You mean there isn't time? We'll play it quickly. That quick, you fool. Do you remember when you and David made your stage dancing debut, and you decided that you wanted some black eyeliner? That was the thing for dancers to wear. And you went to Walmart, go to all the best shops, and you went and put it on in the hotel room, and you looked like a panda with it. And the more you laughed and everybody laughed, it streaked, and in the end you had to go into the shower and wash it all off. I would have loved to have seen that. But that was when you were in America, And I think, you know, thinking of your holidays, that you are actually a bit of a Jonah when it comes to holidays, a bit of a jinx. Because, I mean, you were setting off to America on 9/11, didn't you, 9/11, when the terrorist attacks happened, and you had to turn round across the Atlantic and come home again. You went to Sorrento, there was hurricanes, you couldn't get there. You were going once with Denise and Lisa to Florida, and you were stopped and drug tested. And then poor Eileen came with you once to America, and there was another hurricane. And that poor woman was terrified by the torrential rain and wind. But what did you do? You just had a hurricane party, got out the wine and the nibbles, stuffed the wind. Do you know, I think, really, if the end of the world was announced, you'd be getting out a bottle of wine, the Pringles crisps, and you'd go down singing and partying, wouldn't you? Now, when you lived in Blackburn, you often used to take holidays on the Isle of Wight. But only you could bring a Lancashire hot pot with you in the boot every time. Lois, we do have good food in the south of England, you know. Now, these days, every year, you take part in many quiz nights, usually with Ian and Denise Goldsmith on your team. And they're very close to Ian and Denise, but do you know, everybody, sometimes when they've been abroad, they've actually, all three of them, shared a room together. Not like that, no, but Lois sharing a room with Ian Goldsmith, I mean, that's taking friendship above and beyond the call of duty, really. But you do often go on a team with Denise and Ian as the Devonshire Dimwits. And I know for you it's just a little bit of fun. You're not competitive in any way, shape or form. Only last month you were at Christchurch for a quiz and you lost. But you were straight over to the winning team and it immediately shook Malcolm Webster warmly by the throat. Now you may be wondering why I'm not with you in person today, and I would have loved to have been at your tea, but actually I've been invited somewhere more important. Oh, I don't mean to be rude, but Her Majesty the Queen is giving a tea today, and I have been invited to be her dresser for the occasion, because being July, her own dressers are off on holiday somewhere, so I couldn't really refuse a command like that, could I? And knowing how much you love clothes, Lois, that wardrobe at Selston Road is like a department store, isn't it? I thought perhaps as a very, very special treat to you, I would show you in advance the outfit that Her Majesty is going to be wearing, because it's been delivered to me so that I can take it with me, and I have it here. Would you like a sneak preview? You can look, Lois, the rest of you mustn't, because this is a special honour to me. So I'm going to show you now what Her Majesty is going to be wearing. I'm very excited because I haven't seen it myself. Here we are. We have it here on this dummy. It's called Denise. Yes, because it doesn't have any knees, you see, or legs. So it gives me very great pleasure to do an unveiling, and I haven't unveiled anything for a very, very long time, I can tell you. This is what Her Majesty will be wearing this afternoon. I'm so excited I hardly dare look. I think perhaps I'd better go and change. Well, it's been lovely to play just a little part in your special birthday tea. Can I leave you with a little blessing? May God grant you the memory to forget the people that you never liked in the first place, the good fortune to bump into the people that you do like, and the eyesight to be able to recognise the difference between the two at a distance. Something Camilla told me, you know, Duchess of Cornwall. But do have a very, very happy birthday. I look forward to being at the 80th, and may God bless you all. And if Ian Goldsmith is buying the drinks, mine's a large one.